Okay, welcome back. In this session, we're going to talk with Dr. Tamsin Lewis with regards to long COVID allergic reactions, specifically what they are, how they impact the body, and what we can do to help the body recover. Hi, Dr. Tam.
Hello.
Hi. So, in your experience, what type of symptoms and manifestations do you experience with long COVID, with the histamine response and the sort of unexplained allergic reactions that you had?
I've kind of had all of these things, and I would mention in one of the other videos that you can be predisposed to this whole histamine reaction through your genetics, and through if you've ever had, an overreaction to a wasp bite, or perhaps, that rash that you get when you have a glass of wine. That's all histamine. So COVID-19 being the disease, or the coronavirus, can trigger in some people this massive release of histamine, which is actually designed initially to help flood out, to clear out the virus. You can get watery eyes, running nose, digestive frequency, looseness of stool. All of that is a histamine driven response designed to try and clear the virus from the body. And what then happens sometimes is that mechanism gets stuck on. It kind of goes, look, this was such an insult, this is a nasty virus to us, that we're going to keep producing all this histamine. And you could be very much driven with symptoms that can be impacted by antihistamine treatments, and also lifestyle adjustments to improve histamine responses. So, for my own, I got a lot of blood pressure instability early on. So sitting to standing, maybe actually this is about week 2, your blood pressure can feel a little bit unstable. I had the gastrointestinal upset up front. I had streaming nose, watering eyes, and then just some weird reactions to foods and supplements that I didn't have before, like mushrooms. And then I took this medicinal mushroom, cordyceps, that was meant to help energy, and I completely had an almost semi-anaphylactic reaction. I actually had to go to hospital because my breathing was impacted. So, it can be really severe. And that was helped by an antihistamine treatment, took everything down. I'm 10 months in now, and I still have histamine driven symptoms, and I'm working with my doctor to try and take them down. And that is, water sort of swelling in some of the joints. I can feel it around my wrists and my hands, on my face. So I'm taking antihistamine therapy. So that, and also slight joint swelling, aches, scratchy throat. All of these can be histamine driven symptoms. And we know that certain supplements can help. I've been on higher doses of quercetin recently, which may have an impact. High doses of vitamin C, you're talking like 3 to 4 grams of vitamin C a day. That can also help. Nettle, stinging nettle tea can help. All of these reduce the impact of histamine on the body. Also thinking about things like black cumin seed, and take down that histamine driven. But I have to emphasize that a low histamine diet is most helpful in people as well. Like, really look at food choices and what you're making, because that can drive the histamine production from the inside.
And that's really useful. So there's quite sort of a compact set of nutrients there that you were using on pretty much a daily basis to help control the histamine response. Yes,
but I have to say that it was still pretty, difficult at times. You have to identify triggers. I had a cleaner that was using a different fabric conditioner that, that's high in chemicals, and I woke up and my face was swollen, watery eyes. So you react to things that previously were benign to you. So identifying what's triggering you, but looking at your gut health too, because that you have good and bad bacteria in the gut which process histamine, as it were. So really looking at measures to calm the gut. Aloe vera, probiotic supplements specifically containing bifidobacteria, which I know Viridian do, can really help tackle this on all defenses. Triggers from the outside, inside from the gut, and then also looking at antihistamine therapy. There is information online on following how to approach low histamine.
That's really useful, thank you. And of course, we would always recommend that individuals have a good discussion with their GP, and if they need someone to advise them in terms of nutrition, then a nutritional therapist or a functional practitioner would be a good route.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Looking at resources or working directly with a practitioner, it's specifically if you've got ongoing multitude of symptoms.
So knowing what you do know now, what would have been the main area or main thing that you would have focused on?
Top tip would be, looking at what triggers you, but also having a low threshold for starting on antihistamine therapy and adding in the supplements that we've discussed to really bolster your defenses against the effects of histamine in the body widespread.
So an individual could use something like, say, a food diary, but in your experience, you had that huge response to a change in conditioner. So it may be that an individual not only uses a food diary, but is also aware of makeup, body care, cleaning, air fresheners and so on and so forth, then, isn't it? It extends into environmental elements.
So, and I think we are dynamic creatures, react to our environment. And if you think that the biological response here is one of high alert, right? There's been a damaging insult in the form of the virus. Loads of histamine is being produced because your body's like, I can't deal with any more toxins. I need to really heal here. So it's exaggerated protective response, which makes you suffer, but is designed to protect you. So becoming aware of those things, switch to all eco products, really try and get fresh air or get a good air purifier like Health IQ or something like that. Wash frequently if you're exposed to any potential environmental triggers, pollution, etc. It's more important now than ever, I think, for people to identify what's triggering them.
Thank you very much.
It will calm down over time, but this is a long time course. We think with long COVID 12 to 18 months, but we don't know because it's always new illness.
Yeah, that puts a whole different spin on what the current projections are and the current definition, isn't it? I mean, at the minute, it's considered to be in excess of 12 weeks. But I think if if there are individuals that are experiencing 12 or 18 months, such as what you referred to then it's a huge chunk of time, and it's a big impact on quality of life and ability to do daily activities.
It massively so. And I was thinking the other day, I could not work full time right now in terms of like being on the wards or in clinic, because you have to pace yourself. And I think when we've tried, it's a very fluctuating course, like a lot of autoimmune diseases, which I'm sure you have a lot of people that that have to change your life to kind of bring this disease into your life, but push all the strategies you have to fighting it now so that your future is not going to be one of chronic fatigue. I think it's really important that we really invest time, and it's really tough because you can't do the things that you previously did, and every time you push yourself to do them, you do get set back. So realistic expectation is 12 to 18 months for recovery. Now, this will differ amongst different people depending on how severe their initial insult was. But there is lots you can do. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate your time on this subject. I think sort of discussing around allergies and histamine intolerance can be an area that for a lot of people can be quite confusing, and you've made that really clear today and given people good signposts in terms of what they can do to help themselves and also where to get more support and that help. So yeah, really appreciate your time, Dr. Tam. No, it's nice to talk to you.